Okay, guys, let's talk about RFK and the autism thing. So, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., he is the Health Secretary of America, I believe, or I'm not entirely sure, so like American politics is different to UK politics. But anyway, he's come out saying that he's looking at different things, and two of the main things he's looking at is toxins in food that are unhealthy for people, because he lives quite a healthy lifestyle, as far as I can tell. I mean, the guy's like, jacked, and he's like super old. And then the other thing is autism. This is like a big thing on his list. Now, he's released two statements on this, and one was a big speech and one wasn't. The first part, where he said that his rhetoric is less than favorable in terms of autism. The way he speaks about it, he said like autistic individuals, it's like a disease for autism. It ruins families. Autistic individuals won't pay taxes. They won't have normal lives. And it's a really. I want to talk about it, and I want you guys to chime in. And I really want to look at it from just a viewing perspective, like as an autistic adult myself with low support needs versus, friends of mine who are high support needs and they can't speak, right? So there are a lot of us with different issues and different needs. Now, the first thing is some autistic individuals will be so profoundly disabled that they won't be able to, hold down a typical job or live independently. And I understand that. And that is a shame. And that is painful for the families. It's painful for the person because they want to be independent. There's a person inside there that like just wants to do things like anybody else. And that is a difficulty. It's harsh. It's hard going, and it is difficult. But that doesn't make them any less of a person, and it doesn't make them any less loved, right? Because they're still here, they still matter, they're still part of our community, and we should do everything to protect those people. Now, why is RFK saying this stuff? He's saying this stuff because he wants to figure out what is the cause of autism by September. Sorry, it sounds so funny saying that. What's the cause of autism by September? So in like 4 years, the rate of autism in the US went from like 1 in like 60 to 1 in 31 kids diagnosed with autism. So he's calling it an epidemic. And I'm trying to figure out how to best talk about this because it's such an interesting topic and it's very sensitive. And I want to do it from kind of like just a viewpoint. I'm not going to take, my emotions into this at the moment because there's a lot of people talking about their emotions. I think we need kind of a stable kind of look at it because there's a second part, which we'll get into in a minute. Now, when RFK said this stuff about autism, it kind of shocked me because I'm like, look, it's not a disease. And the research we have currently that's been done over like 80 years says that autism is genetic, right? Which means that we inherit those genes from our ancestors. And kind of like one of the doctors I spoke to said that like, maybe there's one grandparent has this kind of piece, that relates to autism, and this grandparent has this piece, and it comes together, and then your parent has a piece, and then your other parent has a piece, and it comes together and gives it more of a volume in you as a human being, to be more prevalent on the spectrum, because obviously it is a spectrum, and depending on how those genes kind of come together and how your brain develops, it's neurological, right? So there is no cure for autism. There's no reversing autism. And I'm not sure that he's looking for. I don't think RFK is looking for a cure for autism, right? I think he's just looking to stop the rate in which autism is increasing. Now, this comes from the fact that he looked at data, over 17 years of data, and this data shows that the rate of autism is increasing, not just due to diagnostic criteria improvements, which is what I would say. Well, I did a video on this. I did a video on like why autism rates are increasing, and I, to my knowledge, believe that it's the increase in the diagnostic kind of criteria, the ability to do it now. The technology we have is so much better. The education around diagnosing autism is way more relevant, and we have some really good cutting edge assessment processes coming out, right? And I think that kind of, and then you have the backlog, right? You have people who are in their 50s to their 20s who were missed out of the autism diagnosis when they were kids, and then they get this kind of updated diagnosis. So this could account for the epidemic, as RFK says. Hey, just a heads up, guys, if there are any of you out there who are autistic and you're finding it hard or struggling to cope with situations right now, I actually have a program really affordable called Coping Secrets, or Autism Coping Secrets. Now, you can get access to this by visiting the link in the description down below and looking for Coping Secrets course, or you can go to learnautism.net/coping secrets right now and get access to that course. It's highly recommended. It's my bestseller. Most people that come through my programs will take this one first, and they swear by it. It's a 7-step program. It's really good. Check it out. He also states a study that was done, and it was a very detailed study done over 17 years in the US, and they took into account that type of data, and that still left 97% of the cases down to like genetics, right? It wasn't because they'd missed out kind of, these are like it was like not newborns, but like young kids. I think they were like 8-year-olds. I think it's 0 to 8, right? And so it kind of said the data conclude that autism is rapidly increasing, and there must be a reason for this. We don't know the reason, right? That autism happens. We don't really know. We know it's genetic. There is no actual data to suggest otherwise, and just like anything else, it's kind of like it happens. It's a natural occurrence. And RFK is kind of like, it's a bit scary when he talks about it, because he talks about autistic individuals like it's a drag on society. And that kind of rhetoric really hurts, how I feel about it, but it also hurts the kind of the image of autism. And it's reminiscent of some really eerie, weird stuff. Now, RFK might be a bit of a crazy, right? I don't really know. I don't know the guy. I only, and I'm not American. Like, I know a little bit about American politics from what I see on the news and what I hear in videos I see. But that is a little bit like off the wall. Now, the second part is he speaks about this autism registry thing. Well, it's been dubbed the autism registry. And basically what he wants to do is track data or access data from private healthcare records and smart data from like smartwatches and things like that on people who are autistic, and try to put together some kind of registry to find data points that match or come to a point, because he believes that it could be environmental, right? The cause of autism could be environmental. I don't think so. I mean, okay, let's give a scenario. Yes, somebody could be in a car crash and they could have brain damage, and that brain damage could mimic symptomatic traits of autism. Okay, I get that kind of environmental thing, but he's trying to say that I think what he's trying to lead to is that there's some environmental factor like pollution or toxins or something that's causing autism, right? Which I disagree with, because I did a video all about how vaccines don't cause autism, right? Like there's a bunch of like anti-vax kind of people who say otherwise, and they're allowed to believe and think what they want, and I'm allowed to believe and think what I want. And I don't believe, as a chemist, I have a BSc, a bachelor's degree in chemistry, and the vaccines that we are exposed to they're safe. They don't look like they're going to cause autism, right? But the bigger picture is, RFK can have his thoughts on like what's causing autism, and then he'll figure out that it's genetic, and maybe it's a new stage in human evolution. I don't know. I'm just saying. I'm putting this out there. Please don't. I'm not going crazy. But the autism registry has entanglements, and the entanglements are basically this: it's dangerous to collect private data on individuals, have them on a database, especially when they're vulnerable individuals who could be targeted for all kinds of things. This is private data, healthcare data, smartwatch data, who knows? And even more so, you don't know what the next level of government will do if they have access to that data. I mean, we've all seen horrendous things happen in history, and I'm not saying that any of this has been repeated. What I'm saying is that we have to be mindful of this. And I can admire that somebody wants to do something to help autistic individuals, but I don't know if this is the right help. And I don't think that creating an autism registry is going to be helpful to anybody, apart from detrimental to the privacy of the lives of the people who they're collecting the data from. Now, this is just my personal thought. This is an unedited video. This is just straight from the source. What do you guys think about it? You're in America? Let me know. Drop me a comment down below. I want to have this discussion. And as you can tell, I reply to every single comment that I get. So please drop me a comment down below. Let's talk about it. And thanks for joining this video. I know it's a bit of a random, abrupt video and it's different to my normal one, but I wanted to address it because it's everywhere and everyone's talking about it, and I have thought about it, and I wanted to kind of really come to the plate with something that I felt was adequate to say at this time. Whew. All right. I will see you in the next one, guys. Peace.